Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to Honest Tattooer, and this is the top way where you're not making money.
Yeah.
Not using Midjourney.
Yep.
Welcome to Honest Tattooer, the podcast for tattoo enthusiasts and just tattoo lovers, like everybody here on this table today. And each week we sit down with talented tattoo artists and we discuss different topics that affect our industry. And this week we're going to talk about a very controversial topic. We're going to talk about tattoo and AI, and most of all, Midjourney. And I've been using Midjourney now for like maybe a couple of weeks. And the more I use it, the more I like it, and the more I see it as a tool to create things with it. And I kind of love it, except I put up a post the other day on my Instagram, and I got some people that were like very like, oh, dude, that looks cool. Like, I want to check that out. And people that were like, what is this? This is just taken away from everything. Like, it's just like,
Cheater.
Yeah. Oh, so low, bro. So low. I couldn't believe you would do that.
If you're gonna sell out, just sell out.
Yeah.
Have you gotten anybody to say, yeah, let's do that tattoo after you posted something that you created on Midjourney?
Yeah, I had people hit me up right away and be like, oh, that looks cool, dude. I want to grab that. Which is like, I'm down.
So let's, for people who don't know what Midjourney is, why don't we give a little explanation on what is it?
So Midjourney, I stumbled upon Midjourney because I'm on YouTube a lot and I look at a lot of art stuff, and they talked about this Midjourney AI image, generator. I don't know much about it from a technical standpoint, but I know what it does. So after I just logged onto the website, looked at a couple of videos of people talking about what it could do, then I really started kind of opening up the gates to just like my imagination and how I could use this. So, I mean, the best thing is that it starts off with a prompt, and your prompt is imagine. And then from there, you can get anything. I mean, there's certain restrictions, based on like, you don't want to use anything that's gore or negative or hateful. It's not gonna,
You can't do any pornography either, right?
Yeah. None of that shit's going to work.
So basically what you do is you type /imagine, and then it's telling the bot. Actually, let's start from the beginning. You have to have Discord. So you get into Discord, you invite the what's it called? Midjourney. You invite the Midjourney bot into your chat, and then you tell the bot, you say, imagine, and then that starts your prompt, and then you type in all these keywords, and however you type out whatever you type, it's going to pretty much tell the bot, this is what you want to see. And then it'll just create an image based off of the stuff that you're writing in there.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. And I was talking to a tattooer yesterday and explaining to them, while we were looking at a piece of art that we both liked, how would you describe this? How to be able to get an outcome that's close to what you're looking at or like what you could imagine, how would you start describing things? And it starts making you really look at things in a much different way and in a different context, because like something that's big on Midjourney is like the language that you use to express the things that you want, So you have to be very specific, about the things that you want to be able to get a very good outcome out of Midjourney, which I think it's a little bit of like mental exercise for people.
What's happening?
Yeah, this mic. Pause. So feeding information. Feeding information to the Midjourney bot is called prompting. And the prompts that you can give it can vary from, style to inspiration, a time period. Then you can also vary the
technique.
The technique that it's in. You can vary the light, how light is manipulated in an image. Do you want something that looks, glowy, luminous? Do you want something that looks reflective? Do you want, there's so many layers.
So you have to learn the language in this.
Well, if you can either, luckily, there's people that have already made kind of guides. So you can see like for different outcomes already, like prompts that people have already used that work to get a certain outcome. So now you can, use this guide to kind of be like, all right, I'm looking for something that looks kind of like this. So you can start, organizing these prompts. Mm-hmm. And then it'll also vary depending on like, something that I learned recently is that you can start adding weight to a specific thing, So basically you can, by adding weight to it, it means that the bot will understand that you think that something is of more importance in the design than something else, So then if like what you're looking for is, a girl who's a warrior, then the fact that it's a warrior, you can add emphasis on that. And then everything else, she'll interpret in many different ways, Or you can be very specific on what kind of warrior. Is it a medieval warrior? Is it a prehistoric warrior? Mm-hmm. Is it a modern combat warrior? You can be very specific. You can also say like, I want it in a style of comic book illustration, or I want it in a manga style illustration, So
it's crazy.
Yeah. Or you can say even something that I saw that was wild. You can say, I want it as a 16-bit, video game, illustration, or I want, like let's say you want to do a rose, or you want to do a tattoo of like, Link in a way that it's never been done before, but you want it to look like it's a video game illustration from, a Super Nintendo. You can do that really quickly and easy. It's pretty crazy.
Wow. Scary.
So,
like
one. I didn't get to read any of the comments of the people who were shit talking the post
haters
put up. Yeah. But I did read something that you wrote, and I really want to kind of expand on this a little bit. You said something about the people who were haters were the ones who were like, they have the shittiest portfolio.
Yeah.
And all the people who were like, oh man, I want to learn more about this. They're the ones who their portfolio is great.
They're crushing. They're like, these people that are crushing are like, hey man, like I saw that stuff that you made on Midjourney. It looks freaking sick. Like what are you using? Like, and I'm like, oh, I'm just using Discord and, and using the AI bot Midjourney. That's it. Nothing else. Cause some people think it's like a special app, it's like, no, it's just prompting. Yeah. So the difference between like the app and prompting yourself, right, is kind of like, when you go through an app, the app is doing the prompting in an easy to use interface for you, So like, that's why when you were on Lensa app, you could have went and you were like, oh, I want my style to look dreamy or, comic book or like, and they already know which inputs to put in to get that end result. So that's what you didn't see, but you can do that yourself by going the long way and learning how to use this system that everybody's using. So,
Gabe, I cut you off early today because you were getting all heated this morning talking about, don't shake your head. You're getting all heated. I got witnesses.
What's your definition of heated?
Vega was getting all heated this morning talking about how the AI bots are ruining the tattoo industry. I want you to now I
didn't say any of that.
Come on, guys.
Get out of here. Yo,
say what you just, bro.
Expert gaslighting right here.
So what I was going to say is that, sure, in essence, it can make you, it could fit the criteria. Let's just talk about this new app can fit the criteria of work smarter, not harder.
For sure.
But sometimes to me, work smarter, not harder kind of always equates to cutting corners, and there's always something that you're not seeing behind the scenes. So I've heard the controversy of a lot of people saying that this bot gathers images, from what I understand, without permission from, like original artwork on the internet or around the world.
But see, that's what it's not doing. It's not copying and pasting other images.
Mm-hmm. No, I understand that, but it's using that as a pool of images. But that's so that it can combine and gather.
But isn't that what the internet is? That is what the internet is. It's the pool of information that is there, and we as humans do it already. We do that already. I'll grab a bunch of images. I'll print them all out. I'll look at everything and make something. Now we created something else that's AI that can do the same exact process, but in a faster rate than we can.
All right. So I guess what I was going to also add to this whole thing is that, and this is just my opinion, but I think that this makes artists to be lazier creatively. How? Because you think you're being creative by typing in keywords to make this bot like generate, what you think you're molding just based on the vocabulary.
Yeah.
But that's not making you an artist.
No, but think of it this way.
Not?
If you were going to do a portrait of Kanye, right? What are you going to do? You're going to go type on the computer, give me a good quality black and gray portrait of Kanye, and then you're just going to reproduce that.
Yes.
So if you can get the bot to recreate a photo that no one's ever seen before, and you're just going to recreate that photo, what's the difference?
So the difference is that, when you're recreating a portrait or a photo for tattooing, even if it's like, let's say a customer brings in a deceased loved one or someone who's still alive, it's all technique. There's really no creativity as far as if you want to jazz up the background, add some stuff around it, you can make it your own. But at that point, you are kind of just a craftsman trying to reproduce an image purposely. And now, when you're assembling and collaging to make these like either big landscape or imaginary illustrations, what happens is that when you're relying solely on this app, I feel like when you're let's say you're doing it old school and you're gathering a bunch of images on Google yourself, I feel like when you have that, it makes you think harder because there's less shortcuts. It's more of your own creative collaging of things that really lets you kind of do more from your it's kind of hard to explain it. It's like when you have less material, the more of your own creativity, your originality comes out.
Yeah,
and it displays more. As opposed to this bot generates something so specific that sure, anybody could say like, I'm going to use this as a reference, but it's still going to look like one of my tattoos because I'm tattooing it and I've got my style. I still feel that I don't know, just my opinion. I'm not hating on it because I've seen some pretty cool stuff.
So I'm going to tell you what I did today. The tattoo that I did today was of a blue heron. Okay. I went onto Midjourney. I typed in a whole bunch of prompts to get a photo of a blue heron, but I didn't have it do like a photo realistic image of a blue heron. I had it do a stylized version. One of the prompts that I put in was to have it look like it was generated using Adobe Illustrator.
Okay.
So it had this graphic look to it. I still had to put my own touch on it when I was redrawing it. Like with any other image, if I found something on, Google or Pinterest, whatever, I take the image that I find, I draw over it and I draw my style into it.
Okay.
So it's no different. I get what you're saying. If people are taking the image that they typed in the prompts, they're like, oh, that's cool. I'm just going to trace this line for line. And it's not a photo. It's not a realism piece.
Right.
And you're just tracing some, then I get it. I get your point.
Yeah.
But
even if you're changing it up like 10%, to me, it's just like, dude,
if you're using it just as a photo reference material piece, I don't know, man. I think it's free game.
And I mean, like,
right.
So I want to bring it back to
that's why I'm not hating on it because
something
it's at this point, it's just based on either you love it or you hate it. But, everyone's going to have their beliefs on it.
Like tattooers that have done like, a ton of like photorealistic portraits, or like fantasy art. So they just rely on all these like fantasy images to to make designs. So I feel like that opens up a lot more possibilities for them. Does that make them craftsmen or does that make them artists? You know what I'm saying? Do they still remain, because you said like, then you become more of just a craftsman or just like, some people said like, oh, you're just a technician at that point, if that's what you're doing. And I was like, really though? Because like some of the best tattooers that are the most respected in the world, like make their careers based off of replicating pictures in their way really, really well.
Right.
If you look at any of the most popular photo sharing Instagram pages, they're all sharing like photorealistic tattoos.
Yeah. That are just of
They're not making that stuff
photographs.
up.
Yeah.
They're just looking at stuff.
Yep.
I don't know, man. I think it's pretty good if you're using it the right way. Like, so you had a couple of pieces of Flash that you had. I think it would be pretty shitty if you were like, hey, here's my Flash.
Yeah, like
I designed this.
This is my Flash. It's like, no, look at these photos that I came up with. Any of these would make cool tattoo ideas. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, it's like finding a really good reference. You're like, oh, this is a good idea. This would be rad. At the end of the day, when I think tattoos should look like tattoos, it's just the way that I tattoo. So I think by modifying things in really good, realistic images into tattoo designs, you get a really cool tattoo out of it. So I think changing those designs that you're getting through the AI is going to open your tattoo style, your tattoo perspective, because you're going to be able to get such acute images to like help you with your work. Like some of the best artists in the world did cool shit because they were able to imagine back in the day, I need 3 models to be laying over there, put the lighting, but this is allowing you to do that, but in a digital way, like recreating whatever situation you see to be able to get the reference, you know? And I'm sure that at some point in the past, some people were like, oh, I only think that like real art happens if you're like, you know, doing it in real life, you know, you have to paint with real models. If not, you're not a real artist. And then somebody was like, well, I do my paintings off of this picture that I took. And they're like, what? Off of a picture? That's not real art. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I bet it went even further than that. Like, oh, if you have to look at something. Yeah, if you got to look at something, you're not a real artist.
Painting, yes. And that, dude, that's actually somebody commenting that. They're like, I don't know if I would ever want a tattoo from somebody that doesn't tattoo from their imagination. And I was like, you think that every tattooer or every artist in the world is just working off of just imagination alone? No way. Not happening.
Honestly, I could probably count on one hand how many good artists are doing that.
On just imagination,
yeah.
You know? That guy that just passed away. What's his name? Somebody should know his name.
Kim Jong-gi.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That
artist
guy,
from Korea.
That guy was incredible.
Mm-hmm.
He could draw insane images with full perfect perspective of like 50 characters in one scene, all from imagination. Mm-hmm. Very little people can do that.
Yeah, dude.
That's insane. Not many people can do that really in the world. No. That's a gift. I'm sure if you put in the style of, you could probably get some of that guy's like style.
Man, I've been doing
crazy.
in the style of Alphonse Mucha a lot lately. And I've been getting some pretty rad stuff. Just saying.
Yeah,
I know.
But
it's like,
does it have soul?
I'll tell you what, this is where you're going to run into problems. If you don't have your own personality to it or your own soul to it, and you're trying to replicate the stuff that the bot is telling you, like this is what you should copy if that's what you're going for. No, you're gonna come up short.
Okay,
because there's a lot of stuff missing. Like I'm sure that there's people that could get like really specific, detailed stuff that don't have like
flaws or
don't have flaws. Like we were saying last week, if the bot cannot do hands,
no,
dude. If you try to do
good
hands,
hands.
like there's like multiple fingers, like 6-7 fingers, or like
just a mush. Dude, just literally just something that looked like a mush on a thing, like just insane. It's crazy.
Humans drawing feet and hands. They've been troubled for centuries.
Even the AI can't get him. The AI's like, bro,
those damn hands.
Yeah, dude, it's hilarious that it's like that's the hardest thing for the AI to draw. We all struggle with it. So does AI.
So do the bots.
So does the bots. Fuck, man.
Cyberdyne.
I'm ready to go to Zion, Gabe. Are you?
coming.
All right, guys. So we're downloading Discord. So this is the time. I use my iPad to do everything, but Triana uses his computer. Definitely the computer is easier because you're going to be typing a lot. So computer's good, but I do use my iPad and I feel like it's very comfortable. And then you go to Midjourney.
Sit all my blue herons right there.
That's it. That's where we're at. So now we are in your Midjourney account. So here it shows you like a whole archive of all of the things you've created, etc. And look, this is what I think that, it's not like you're just going to put one image and it's going to just be like, oh, it's exactly what I was thinking about immediately. It takes a lot of trial, error, and persistence to be able to keep making something that's even worth really using. You're going to have to like really try to do multiple variables. And I think that, for example, in a situation where you have a client that wants to see something, you can give him multiple rough drafts of like, hey, we could go in any of these directions, that I like. Multiples really quickly. Because I'm like, these are all references that I'm digging to take this tattoo in this direction. And your client, oh, I want to see this in like with these kind of colors. You literally can tell Midjourney to redo that image, but focus on different colors and tell her it's very important that it has red in it. And it'll work. Show that to your client. Your client's like, oh, that's sick. I like it. Let's go with that.
Okay, so let's walk through it.
Cool. So after you're in the Midjourney, I don't know what would you call this? Like your archive
Interface.
In your interface. So then you're going to go up here. So after you go to Discord, you're going to create a room for where you're going to be able to enter your prompts with you by inviting the Midjourney bot into
your room,
your server, your room, your server. And then pretty much everything starts with a command and it's imagine. So let's create something.
Yeah. What's the next tattoo you got to do?
It's a good question. A lot of my tattoos, literally, we decide day of.
All right, let's look at my calendar. Let's look at the next tattoo I got to do. All right, I got it. Oh, okay. I have to do an earth dragon.
An earth dragon?
Yeah, whatever that, I don't know what that means.
You don't even know what that means?
Yeah.
Shit, I don't even know what that means.
So let's see what the bot thinks it means.
What is an earth dragon?
If I had to guess, I'd say maybe like has some leafy greenery, kind of like rocky texture, like earthy tones.
Are we thinking like a
rocky dragon?
Like a rocky dragon?
Maybe a rocky dragon, maybe like a seaweedy dragon. I don't know.
And I like Game of Thrones dragons. So I think it would be cool to ask it to grab some Game of Thrones reference on it.
Okay.
You could also type in Dungeons and Dragons, because you're looking for like fantasy, medieval type of dragons, maybe
Probably, yeah.
How do you like Elden Ring?
Mm-hmm.
Where is this dragon at? Is he flying or is he standing somewhere?
He's on the ground.
If I'm tattooing it, it's going to be like a statuesque kind of like stoic pose.
Stoic pose.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You should do like a castle in the back.
Yeah.
Just do like a small castle.
If it's an earth dragon, you should do like volcanoes.
Mm.
Yeah, volcanoes.
I like that better.
Volcano better?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not about to tattoo some
Let's do-
architecture.
No. I was thinking more silhouette-y, like
Yeah.
painterly. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But a volcano sounds good.
So now, see, I'm thinking by you writing made of stone
Mhm.
is going to create like a marble statue or something like that. And that's not how I envision it. I'm thinking
So-
more of like
Oh,
the like thing, like
Thing
that kind
from
of,
Fantastic
That's
Four.
kind of what I'm
Yeah.
picturing.
So let's say made of rubble.
Oh, that's good.
That's good.
Yeah.
Made of rubble.
who the fuck asked you for an earth dragon? I want a dragon, but you know what?
So
Nobody asked for
now
this.
we have like a.
I want an earth dragon.
want an earth dragon,
Yeah.
bro.
I'd be like, yeah, sure, I got you, bro. I mean, top
So-
cost $300.
Now, let's think of like, do we want this dragon to? How are we looking at this dragon? Are we looking at him? Is he looking at the camera? Is he looking in 3/4 away from us?
I'm gonna say side view,
Like a 3/4 view or full profile view?
full profile.
Okay.
Maybe a 3/4 would be nicer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this sucks doing it on the iPad, man. I'd be like on my computer right now.
That's the part where like
Putting in all the keywords like roaring.
Yeah. 3/4 perspective. Let's do flat shading. Smooths it out so it doesn't give it too much
Detail.
too much detail, doesn't go over the top. And then I think I found a couple of things just like to give it, if you wanted to have any sort of perspective, sometimes it's good to give it like think about the lens that would be used to capture this photo or this scene.
All right, our camera guy, what kind of lens do we want to use?
Yeah. What kind of lens would you take of a
We're
dragon?
taking pictures of a dragon.
85 millimeter lens. Okay, so let's add that to it. Do you want it close up or far away?
Could we get like a bust?
Like a bust. Well, we'll see how.
Yeah, all right. No, I think we're good.
Yeah. Okay. And then I think at this point, it's more of like, what style of illustration do you want it to look like? Do you want it to be something rendered? So when I try to do something that looks very smoothly rendered, right? I use Octane render. I use also Unreal Engine, things from video games that can create really nice, smooth, CGI looking graphics,
Yeah.
Because those are simple enough and clean enough, then you can manipulate it into whatever you want, So let's go with that. So I'm going to do all right. So I think that's good enough. I think the last thing is like the frame, do you want it to be a 3/4? Do you want it to be longer? Do you want it to be like wide, square?
Yeah, we definitely want to be long. I think it's going to be a tattoo on a calf.
With 2 dashes, we're going to add this, and it's going to be AR aspect ratio. And
what are the 2 dashes mean?
So there's different kinds of prompts, and to separate the description from the prompt, and there's like a list of them. I wish I had the list right here to give it to you guys, but there's like a whole list of different prompts, that are based even, for example, we can change the quality. Like, we can put the double dash and add quality and drop the quality of the illustration. Sometimes the AR can tend to overdraw, and just give you too much, and like it'll just go crazy, start adding like just weird textures where it doesn't need to. So sometimes you have to tell it to kind of hold back, and you can adjust, for example, that even into a specific part of the art or the drawing, whatever it is. Even if it's like, for example, you can see that every time that the AI draws the eyes, they're overdrawn, or there's like you're losing detail because they're trying to add too much detail. You can have it pull back, by changing the quality of it, or even having it stop as it creates the thing.
Okay. All right, let's see.
So we're going to change the aspect ratio to 23/4.
Sure.
Okay, cool. Then we're going to press, boom, return.
All right, so it'll take a minute or two to start rendering it. So you're going to get 4 options, and out of each one, so the top left is going to be 1, top right is going to be 2, the bottom left is going to be 3, and the bottom right is going to be 4.
And if you see it, it's like literally making it come together little by little and adding more detail and less detail. And look at these.
That looks like an earth dragon.
That's an earth dragon.
That's an earth dragon.
Like, I mean, so far, all of these look pretty cool.
Yeah,
I really like this guy right here looks sick.
Yeah, that guy's pretty cool.
That guy looks pretty cool. I feel like, especially if it's where's it going?
Calf.
On a calf. I feel like that looks pretty cool. And this looks pretty cool too, if it's going to go on a calf as well.
Yeah. So, with this, you could do one of two things. You could upscale it, which it'll take that kind of thumbnail image that we have, blow it up a little bit bigger, add a little bit more detail to it. Or
and it will change slightly.
Yeah, a little
bit. The upscale, yeah. It changes a little bit.
Or you could make a variation of it.
Yeah.
And with that, you could add new prompts, maybe take away some prompts.
Yeah.
And it'll give you 4 new thumbnails that it won't be a copy of the first one, right? It won't be like this one plus 3 more. No, it'll be 4 brand new ones based on
one thing that I want to show you, I don't know if you already know how to do this. So you can go here and you go settings.
Yeah, I told you this last time.
Yeah. Oh, you told me about the settings. Yeah. And with the settings, you can make sure that you turn on remix mode.
Already there.
You already have it there. And you can change the level of style that how wild you want it to go. And you can even change the level of the quality of what you want it to do. There's also multiple Midjourney versions. And of course, use the latest one. But you can use the older ones if you want to see different results of different things that it could possibly create if you want something that looks has a completely different style. So there's a lot of things that you can do to change it. So there's recently they added this like Niji mode, and it's like great for doing things that look like comic book style, anime, things like that. It knows how to create better in that style for that. Okay. So.
All right. So, let's take number 3, and let's see what happens when
you want to upscale it.
Let's upscale that one.
So you go boom, upscale 3.
Now it's going to go down to you got to scroll down a little bit. Yeah, there you go. This one's taking a little while, huh?
Yeah, dude, Earth Dragon, bro. It's an Earth Dragon.
Mm-hmm.
This thing can't draw hands, bro. We're making it work. It's like Earth Dragon, bro. Earth fucking Dragon.
Oh man,
damn. All right,
there it is. Look at that.
It is, bro. Look at that, guys. Damn. Look at that.
That's fucking sick.
That's a sick Earth Dragon.
That's a fucking Earth Dragon, guys.
Sheesh.
So now, Gabe, now that you saw this, if somebody asked you to do an Earth Dragon, and I want it to look kind of realistic, if you pulled that up just now, how would you feel about making a black and gray photorealistic tattoo based off of that?
I wouldn't.
You wouldn't do it?
I'm fresh out of Earth Dragons. I can't make that shit up. It's like, we're all out. I ain't got no Earth Dragons.
Bro, I would totally tattoo this as like a really cool, like, I would do it more illustrative than like photorealistic.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It would look super cool.
I would stylize the hell out of that.
Hell yeah. Like this cool chest plate that it's got going on. It's like fucking sick. And like just.
This is the point in the argument that I don't know the difference. And this is solely for like realism artists that reproduce based off of imagery on Google, photographs.
Mm-hmm.
What makes that any better than, trying to do a recreation or a portrait of that? And I'm still like, I'm conflicted mentally. Because I honestly don't see anything wrong with generating an image like that
to assist
and
as
then
a reference.
making it, but also not only just reference, but also being like, I'm going to use that because I'm a black and gray artist and that's going to be my model.
So what?
And I'm going to recreate. Yeah, exactly. Well, that's the thing. It's just,
it feels dirty.
It feels so dirty. It's like cheating.
But there's your reference right there. It's an Earth Dragon.
It still feels like cheating though.
But let's
but how is that cheating any more than going to a fantasy art book and using the reference that some guy painted in oil paint in the same manner?
Cool.
You know what the thing is? Look, shitty artists out there will always be shitty artists.
That's it,
But
man.
I feel that people that lack creativity, okay, guys?
Mm-hmm.
People that lack the ideas to generate this in their own mind now it gives those artists that are lacking better tools to create cooler shit that they never would have been able to think up on their own. That's the part that I don't like.
That's a
But I think what's wrong with that? Yeah, I don't see what's wrong with that. If people can
because as human beings we're competitive and we like to know that somebody's smarter, somebody's stronger, somebody's more creative. Like that's life. You know, there's pros and cons to everything. I feel like this is like, you know, shoot, how could I even? So this is like the bodybuilder that trains for years to be able to do like 400 plus pounds. And then comes the guy who stacked, I don't know what all the steroids are, which everybody stacks and stuff. And guys like in 2 months is already like super swole and, you know, just shortcuts. It's a straight up,
look at the
straight up shortcut.
Look at the second time. Look at this.
Yeah, no, it's unbelievable. The program's really capable.
No. It did terrible shit. Terrible. Look, this looks like nothing.
Oh, those are bad?
These are terrible. Look, these are terrible. Terrible. But trying to do a remix of it.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, it doesn't always nail it. You know? You have to be able to be like, this is not gonna.
Yeah, just scold the AI. Be like, you did a bad job.
There you go. Went too far.
You guys know what I'm trying to say though, right?
No, I don't, because what my point is, yeah, you have artist type A.
It gives artists
hold on. You have artist type A who's creative and he'll draw his own thing. He'll create his own stuff out of his own imagination. And you have artist type B who needs to rely on a reference to do the same thing, but he's got to look at something to do that. Right.
Right.
So if artist type B needs to look at something, what's the difference if he's looking at something that somebody else already painted or somebody else already took a photograph of or generated from a bot? There's no difference. There's no difference. There's no difference.
He's short-circuited. Overload.
Look, I get it. If
I have a response,
if you're gonna be, I get it. People would be upset if they're not using it as a reference and they're just like copying it straight off and then saying like, I did this. Yeah, that I get that, and that's pretty shitty. But if you're just using it as a tool of reference, I see it no different than using anything from anything else online.
Yeah.
At least you can call it your reference.
Yeah, I guess for me, it's on some like, gatekeeping shit where I kind of want the artist that's not as creative as me to stay that way. Straight up. So that I can have the edge on that person. Now that person who's not as creative has the tools to be able to come up with something cool.
I mean, it's already been that way with even just the invention of like.
I know that sounds terrible, but now you get it, right?
No, I don't, because that same person could still go online and find those images.
No.
Why?
Because now you have that tool to be able to create.
So if somebody else is
but you're telling me that program doesn't always work, but for the most part, it does. Because look at that first try Earth Dragon. First try.
It looked great. I could take this image, put it on whatever internet website or do you want. Now it's there for anybody to look at. So the next guy who has to do a fucking Earth Dragon tattoo. Yeah, but
check this out.
Now they got reference.
Yeah, but check this out. Before, when somebody was painting an Earth Dragon on like DeviantArt or whatever, they were actually making that entire shit up.
Yeah.
And then they put it on the internet forever for
and
other
then
people to use.
Some asshole looked at it and be like,
still
that's
took
fucking
it.
cool.
Like,
I'm
print that. Yeah, exactly. It's the same thing. You know how many fucking fantasy dragons got traced off of DeviantArt in the fucking 90s, bro?
Yeah.
Like,
but I'm not talking about those fucking fools. I'm talking about the dudes that are using those references to draw off of as inspiration. Like to do something similar, but it'll be like, oh, what an Earth Dragon would like, oh, this guy fucking painted one already. Like this, okay. That's kind of a look I can use, and you adapt it to your drawing style and you make up something new. But that's gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna fucking trace that on my fucking. I'm gonna trace that on. I'm gonna create a layer, and then I'm gonna throw some out. I'm gonna throw some outlines on top of the head here, and hey, look, it looks like one of mine. Like, no, man, no.
Yeah.
It is. It is.
No.
That's it. That's all you need. That is literally all you need to make art.
Like, oh, that's a perfect reference. All right, I'm gonna make it mine.
How many?
Layer 1, layer 2, outlines bordering the exact outer rim of the nose, like literally everything.
You still have to tattoo it.
Yeah.
You still have to tattoo it. It doesn't end there.
Red-handed.
You have to make it happen.
How do you know any? I'm assuming you know something about music, right? How many notes are in a scale? Do you know?
How many notes in a scale?
In the major scale, do you know how many notes are in the major scale?
No.
7. Okay. Same thing with the minor scale. There's 7 notes. How many fucking songs have been written over the hundreds of years using 7 notes? You don't think anything's been repeated? There's
yes, but when it's blatant, I'm not talking about sampling.
Neither am I.
When it's blatant, like copying of chords, very specific sounds, those people usually go in court. They battle it out. And they're called out on it.
There's a pretty well-known comedy bit where these 3 guys go up on stage and one guy's got a guitar, one guy's got a keyboard, and one guy's just with the mic. And I don't know if they're really a band, but their bit is they're a band that's never made a very popular hit song. And one of the guys is like, oh, well, that's because we never wrote a 4-chord song. What are you talking about? And they start playing these 4 chords in a particular progression. And they're like, oh, yeah, every popular song has been written with these 4 chords.
Yeah, so there's like nothing new. Everything's going to sound like something.
Right. It's the same shit.
It's the same shit.
Same thing, man.
Yeah, it's like why
Wrong.
When you look...
Wrong.
The easiest thing to do, bro.
Visual language against sound and notes, completely different.
This is how it's
different.
So this is how
like
it's not.
Fractals different.
Wait, this is how it's not, right? If you go to museums, right? Why do you think that we can group art in such specific sections in a museum? They're all amazing. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have
because
all the Madonnas, that have been done over the period, like the same compositions of religious art, of like things like that, because those are great compositions and they work.
I know where you're going with this. Just like every era of music, 70s, 80s, there's similar sounds because everybody
is being inspired off of somebody.
Is being inspired off of somebody. So there's like, oh, they use a lot of cowbell in this. So there's this distinct thing. Oh, we're using the organs for this band. You know what I mean? And get 70s sound, let's say. 80s, lots of synth, and we're also using the synth, and we're also doing this. Exactly. And like, I get it, but there's still like a lot of originality within those, like, within those subcategories.
That's still what I'm saying. There's still going to be human intervention after the,
yes,
after that.
Not straight copying.
Come on, guy.
Not straight copy.
Dude, even if you and I both took the same piece of reference, straight copied it and tattooed it, it's going to look different.
It's going to be different.
This is everybody's doing it, so just fucking do it. Maybe like, yeah, we know it's wrong. You're not saying anything wrong.
Gabe,
but we're all doing it.
You're a great tattooer, but you're the guy in his comment section that he's talking about.
Yeah. Think about like how many tattooers have just made careers of doing.
I like to read the comments. I don't get involved.
Sailor Jerry redraws. You know what I'm saying? How many tattooers have made careers of doing excellent Sailor Jerry redraws, bro? What's wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with it. How is this any different?
Does it change your opinion?
So I don't know, because it's like, okay, so here's my view on it. That's kind of like based on it's a different form of, it's like, it's crazy because tattoo created this like little area where it's specific to traditional tattoos that you can copy those and make these slight changes that make it like, let's say, your application style, but only with that type of specific.
He's literally saying exactly what you just described. Exactly what we said. But you were like, but it only applies to this.
Yeah, but the thing is that here's the thing, that Flash was meant from the culmination of it to be reproduced.
And AI is for the streets, baby.
That makes no sense.
Does it change your opinion about it that it's not free? Does that change your opinion about it at all?
Oh, I know, because I didn't even know if it was free, or I never asked.
Right. So now that you know that it's not free,
It's not free. You have to pay for it.
Does that change your opinion about it?
No, it's the same. It's the same thing. It doesn't change anything about it. How much is it to get in? How much is it to use the program?
It starts at $10.
$10 a month.
Yeah, I mean,
So if you're buying a sheet of flash to reproduce, you bought that art, but the intention is to make new art based off of that as reference. You're purchasing that. If you're purchasing this to create something to reproduce and make new art off of, how's
no,
it
you
different?
see, so let me be specific. I was talking more.
It's only specific to the original traditional tattoo.
No. The thing is that you take, damn, you fuckers don't know anything, do you?
Please,
Now,
tell me.
listen,
Tell me.
it's all really about paying like homage to a lot of the people that were the pioneers of traditional tattooing. You know, people that a lot of people are like, you would call the old farts and be like, oh, we don't fucking care what they did. You know, like basically, you know, the Dietzels, Jerry, Coleman, a bunch of other artists that
Legends.
right, legends, where you're gonna reproduce their flash or you're gonna do your own versions of them, but it's like in honoring, and it's more like, oh, this is cool. I love their designs. I'm gonna honor their designs, and it's basically tradition. That's why they call it traditional.
Does the client know or care?
I think sometimes the client knows. It's just like people that get hundreds of the what's the famous? I sound like an idiot. The back piece with the dancer, like the Indian girl.
Yeah, the classics.
Yeah. Anyway, brain fart. It's like those things are legit meant to be reproduced, and you can always tell. You know, yeah, it's a fucking traditional tattoo, but you can always tell sometimes
they're meant to be
artist
reproduced because that guy's dead, and that guy can't say I don't like it. That's why.
Maybe.
That guy can't be like, yo, where's my royalties on that?
But after so many years, we made it okay, guys. Okay.
It's true. Now, like certain things like that are accepted. And like when there's tattooers that make books and make the books, you know, they write a disclaimer like, these are not flash. This is for inspiration. But there's some that say, hey, these are free for the taking. Free to reproduce this as much as you want. I don't care.
Yeah, you already paid me for the book.
Right. I just believe that if in the subject of, the AI is taking, you know, people's art, if it's only taking inspiration from things that are online, and if it's online, you accepted that, you know, checkbox and you said, yeah, that's fine if I'm going to put my shit online. As long as it's online, people can screen grab it, do whatever with it, and use it.
Next question. What do you guys have to agree to sign up for this? Did you guys read it? What does it say? What rights do you give up? What privacy do you give up? What does it say?
I mean, you're literally using it.
Does it matter to you? Probably not.
No, honestly, I don't pay attention to that stuff. I don't even know if there was a disclaimer that, or like,
same. But you have to do a disclaimer to get into Discord. But just because Discord is a platform, just kind of like Instagram is, so you're gonna have to give, you know, sign a release to them.
Yeah, what kind of permissions are you giving this bot?
The same kind of permissions you would give
when you invite it into your room. What permissions does this bot have? Like a vampire. Can I come in? You can only invite me in.
All right.
Listen, Human Centipede is like right there.
I can't come in until you invite me.
Let's move along.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else you want to talk about real quick before we call it a wrap?
Every time I think about like I joke about it, but I really don't care. To me, it's up to the individual. Whatever tool you use to create a good job doesn't matter.
Unless it's AI.
Unless you're gonna be a lazy, unless you're gonna be a creatively lazy.
Don't use AI though. Fuck
using
that tool.
AI. If you're
That
gonna
tool
be-
sucks, guys. Don't use
You're gonna
that
be
tool.
a
though.
lazy bastard.
If you use that
using
tool,
AI.
you're a fucking tool.
All right. Goodbye.
Oh shit.